Hi guys, it's Sarah. I'm back today with an amazing guest. His name is Jason Bates. I have been trying to connect with him for a while. He's a super busy guy, and so I'm really honored, Jason, that you were able to hop on the podcast today and share a little bit of your valuable time with us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And, a shout out to you for allowing opportunities for us to, share what we're excited about and put it out there in the community to get people to, want to be more involved. And maybe we create another investor out of this, or we get somebody involved in real estate, or we let somebody know that you don't have to be tied to your W-2. So any one of those outcomes would be amazing for me.
Oh, I love that you just said that because that is something I'm definitely passionate about, freeing people from their W-2s. And so yeah, I can't wait. Maybe we focus on that today. Um,
Yeah.
let's start back just to give people a little perspective on who Jason is. Can you give us a little history and bring us up to modern day?
Awesome. So I was born several years ago. That's all I'll say about that. But I will tell you my passion. So per my Clifton strengths, I lead with relationships, right? So the reason why I love real estate so much is I really get to exercise that desire to build relationships with people, with sellers, with investors, with brokers, you name it. And it really started back to 2012 when I opened the martial arts school because I was really interested in. I wanted people to be able to walk around with confidence, especially
Yeah.
kids, just walk around with confidence and know that you might not you're not really learning to beat somebody up, but you're learning to walk into a room and hold your head high and be confident enough that you're automatically off of a bully's radar, right?
That's so cool.
I'm not a fan of bullies. And so for someone who really likes to lead with relationships, building relationships with, students and people that walk through the door as one version and then leave another version, that was just very powerful for me. So
Yeah.
the reason why I got out of teaching martial arts is in the martial arts school, you're tied to a brick and mortar building, right? So your ability to travel and do things remotely is diminished. Don't get me wrong. I still get a lot of desire from teaching and helping to change people's lives. And
Yeah.
now I just guest instruct and, I still train, but I don't own a school.
Sure.
At least not now. Now fast forward to real estate. I got into real estate 2 years ago. My business partner, Erica Walden, and I together and said, hey, real estate's the way to go. She had 20 years experience in owning a construction companies.
Cool.
Didn't necessarily want to get into fix and flips, but we wanted to be able to get into, buying holds. And with her construction background, we didn't have to depend on people to make sure the properties were ready to rent and fix them
Yeah.
to go. So we ended up buying, two properties, all creative last year, because that was the key, right? No bank. And then we got to the end of the year and we're, oh my gosh, it's slow. It was not happening fast enough.
Yeah.
And then we decided we wanted to get into multifamily. Now, in December, when we decided to get multifamily, we didn't know what that looked like because we knew we had no multifamily experience. And then fast forward to the end of January, and I'm in my office in one room. She's in her office in another room, and I heard her squeal because she says, "Oh my gosh, Vina Jetty is having a live class, and it's on a Saturday, and you don't have to miss work." And so, and that was, and her finding that ad and her signing us up for that changed the trajectory of our whole life. I mean, we joined Vina Jetty's community. I can now call her my friend. We could definitely call her our friend. Eric working for her as an underwriter, teaching underwriting for her organization. So that's what makes multifamily so powerful. Is I have probably one of the best underwriters on my team. But more importantly is that, we built that relationship and, Vina is an incredible, she's got the heart of a teacher. She basically just opens the playbook for multifamily real estate and just lays it down in front of you and go, okay, guys, this is how you do it front to back, top to bottom. You want to raise capital, here it is. In the form of a fund, you want to be an owner operator, here it is. You want to be an asset manager, here it is. You want to be a property manager. It doesn't matter what you want to do in multifamily. She will teach you every aspect.
Wow.
And
Wow.
her live master class is nothing anybody's ever seen.
Can you
It's great.
can you back it up real quick? Because I actually didn't hear, or maybe I don't know who she is. Can you
Okay.
say it
Yeah.
slower? What's her name?
Her name is Vina Jetty, Jetti.
Okay.
And imagine that she is the female version of Grant Cardone. Her and her business were
I want to meet her.
$1 billion in real estate assets.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
And when I say it's a family business, it is literally a family business. I met her sister, her parents, kids. I mean, you name it. It's definitely
Yeah.
her husband. It's definitely a family business. I first saw her. Well, we first saw her about a year ago because she was collaborating with Morby on some things.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I first saw her.
Okay.
And when the ad came up that she was going to be teaching how to run a multifamily business,
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer to jump on top of it. But
Yeah.
you think you see who she is when she's doing stuff with Pace. She's 100 times that. She's just so passionate,
Ooh.
caring, and so giving.
Oh
And
my
it's not
God.
just her; it's her whole family. So that basically kickstarted our journey to multifamily, and we have not and will not look back.
My gosh, I'm so excited right now. Like I want to learn who she is and kind of and get involved because my background, I used to do property management for buildings like 110 units around that range. And so knowing that side of it, I've always known like I need to own some of these, because
Yeah,
worst case scenario, I could manage them too. And yeah, I would love to dig more into that world for sure.
definitely follow her on Instagram.
Okay.
She drops gold on Instagram all the time, from wanting to be better at social media to being better at talking to potential investors or potential sellers. There is no shortage of nuggets that she drops on her Instagram page. So definitely follow her there.
Okay, awesome. Now, does she offer programs to get involved in, just like Pace Morby does then? Like you're a gator as an example.
Yeah.
Are you something in her world as well?
Yeah, so she has an organization called Multify,
Okay.
and her mentorship program, her course that leads to what we call masterclass, is called Multify Elite. And
Okay.
that is a pro. And ironically enough, it's run through New Reach, which is the same company that runs Pace Morbies as well.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Nice. So, yeah, no, thank you for that nugget. That's definitely something to pursue. So then, your business partner, is she the one that went to Montana with you recently? I saw on your
No,
guys' Instagram page.
we didn't go to Montana. We've been going to him from Bristol, Tennessee, because that's where our last asset we had under contract was.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
and yeah, yeah, she was the one who underwrote it, and at the time it was a really good deal. Now here's the power of due diligence, and I don't know if you've ever taken a property through due diligence, but that's your opportunity to verify all the financials, your entire structure of the deal on. This is
Yeah.
what to investors. This is what we use for potential profit and loss. It's the basis for everything, right? So then we had the opportunity to go down to the event. This was an event-based RV park. This was right next to a NASCAR racetrack, one of the biggest racetracks in the NASCAR series. And
Yeah.
we got to see in real time what he was bringing in for revenue, what the park does, his interaction with the different guests. And that's another thing. Remind me to talk to you later about why I love RV parks and guests versus apartment complexes and
Okay.
tenants. But we had an opportunity to be a part of that live. Now the outcome of that is we discovered that the broker who structured that deal, who gave us the OM that all the underwriting was based on, he sorely misrepresented the seller, and it was almost an order of magnitude off.
Oh, wow.
And even the seller had not realized it. So that was a tough conversation to sit down with the seller and say, hey, what was presented in your OM and what you're really doing are way off.
Okay.
And as we had built a relationship with him, and because we know, like, and trust us, and we cared about him, Erica just opened her computer and walk through and say, this is what's really going on. We don't have a deal here anymore.
Oh, man.
So
Okay.
it was unfortunate because this was his retirement. Now I will tell you, we're working on some things with him to some possible solutions. So we are still going to be able to help them, and there's still going to be a positive outcome. But in
Good.
the short term, we did have to cancel the transaction because we could not buy the deal at the price that was advertised.
Okay, gotcha. I wonder how the broker got him so wrong, you know?
I don't know, and I don't want to comment
Yeah.
because it's in the broker, but it was way off. And the seller had said, I never saw any of these numbers because I would not agree with them.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
that's how big the disconnect was.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
again, if you lead with integrity like we do, we're able to talk to our investors and tell them why this is no longer a deal.
Yeah.
We were able to talk to the seller and say, look, we can't purchase this as an asset as is, but we have some solutions that we can help them and make this a profitable asset.
Yeah.
So we are going down a different path than we thought. But again, because we're in the relationship business and because we lead with integrity, we're going to be able to do business with this gentleman here going forward. It's just going to look different than we originally started. So, because again, his whole outcome is to retire. He's 66 years old.
Yeah.
He just wants to go to the next phase of life.
Yeah.
And our job is to acquire businesses and assets. Sometimes, the asset part has to be put on hold, and
Yeah.
we were looking at it from a business. So
Yeah. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of potential there. But the lessons learned I want to make sure your audience gets is the power of due diligence and the power of verifying things, and the fact that we take the fiduciary responsibility of our investors. Number
Seriously.
one, right?
Yeah.
We're taking their retirement money, and we're
Yeah.
promising, or not promising, forgive me, we're
Yeah.
forecasting that we're going to double their money in 3 to 5 years. So we take that seriously. And if the actual data comes out that we can't perform at that level, then we immediately put on the brakes and let everybody involved know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. Integrity has to be number one. And I also love that, like you say, there's still solutions. They might be different than originally planned, but you can get creative. And I also love that you mentioned, the business acquisition side of it because, with baby boomers retiring left and right, this is a huge, huge potential market. And so it sounds like working with you, a person would be able to look at both business acquisitions and real estate investments all in one.
Right. Well, and that's the beauty of multifamily. If you're thinking about it, you're buying a business in multifamily, but you still
Right.
there's a real estate asset associated with it.
Got
So
it. Yeah.
because this is an RV park that's a real estate asset,
Yeah.
and it's also a business, we said, okay, let's put the asset part to the side and then see, can we help you make your business profitable
Yeah.
so that sometime down the road we can buy the entire business with the asset at a better value than what we're currently getting now. I mean, we would have to deeply discount it so much right now if we were to go to buy it. It would have just been an insult. And we were just honest with him. We said, we
Right.
actually don't want to buy it from you that low.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, you want to do what's right for him as well. And he, like you said, he needs to retire. So if you can get the business operating better, then it'll be a win-win in the future.
yeah.
I love that. That's great. No, thank you for sharing that story. So tell us, you said to circle back, tell us why you like RV versus, you said multifamily, right?
Well, and here's the beauty. RV parks are multifamily, where in like apartment complexes, you're talking about per door, and RV parks, you're talking about per pad. Now, the difference is,
Say
and the
say
way
that again.
so let's say an RV park has 50 pads.
Pads for pads. Yeah.
Pads, yeah. So
Okay.
we're an RV 6, because that's all you're doing is you're renting out a pad.
Right.
People are bringing in their own trailer, basically their own home away from home.
Yeah.
They're renting your pad, which you supply electricity, water, and sewer.
Correct.
So they're renting a pad. Whereas an apartment complex, you rent a door or an apartment, so that's counted as a door.
Yeah.
Now, on the RV park space, we're dealing with guests because they're not tenants. If they're there to come for a short time, have a good time with their family, and then move on.
Yeah.
Apartment complex, you have tenants, so you've got all those tenant landlord laws that you have to legally follow. And in an RV park, because you have guests, the laws and rules are a little different.
Yeah.
Plus, when somebody leaves an RV space, you just sweep off the pad and bring in the next one. Somebody leaves an apartment, you got to repaint it, fix it up, and get it ready to rent again. So
True.
there's a little bit more overhead, a little bit more expenditures, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot more associated with buying an apartment complex. Now, don't get me wrong. We have a future where we're going to start buying apartment complexes and storage units and all kinds of other things. But right now, we just wanted to focus on the guest experience because nobody packs up their family to go to an apartment complex. They pack up their family to go to a vacation spot. And
Right.
RV parks are a great way to take family on vacation without having to spend a whole lot of.
Yes. Yes. No, that makes perfect sense. I would imagine they're a hot commodity right now with the recent trend in, people doing RV as a lifestyle as well.
Yeah, lifestyle. A lot of remote workers, they really enjoyed the remote capability. So the thought of going back to the office, just they don't want anything to do with that. So
Yeah.
they throw their laptop and their phone in their backpack, and whenever they land, it's their office, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then baby boomers, like you said, they're retiring right and left. They're selling off their businesses. They're still getting that monthly cash flow check from selling their business, but now they're jumping in their RV and they're going around and visiting grandkids and friends, and they're going all over the U.S. Now they still have their home base, but they're leaving their home base and traveling and coming back. So we're really seeing a big trend in RV parks because of those two things. We call the nomads and the remote workers. You're seeing a lot of the younger generation that's just frustrated with the price of housing, but you can afford an RV. And then you've got the baby boomers that they've got the money and the time now, and they don't want to sit at home, which I don't blame them. They just they're going to go out and tour the U.S. and a lot of them really follow the weather, right? So,
Yeah.
they stay in the southern states in the winter months and head up to the northern states in the summer and spring months. So it's a really, really cool experience. And it's fun to be a part of it. I've always said, how cool is it that you get to hang out with other people on vacation?
Yes. Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I find you super inspiring. I would have guessed that you had been in the real estate market for, in the real estate world for far longer than 2 years,
Mhm.
because you strike me as this super successful already. Can you explain like how you ramped up so quickly? Was it just a matter of surrounding yourself with the right people?
Yeah. So that is definitely a factor, right? So I was talking about Clifton strengths earlier, and I said relationships was my number one. My
Yeah.
number two is learner. I've got this insatiable desire to learn. So
Yeah.
I dive in head first. And then the next thing I would say is to have a business partner that has the same passion and drive and desire you do. So
Yeah.
Erica's my integrator. I'm the visionary. And we basically just split up what needs to be done. So it's not one of us trying to do everything.
Yeah.
Then the last thing is you hit the nail on the head, is surround yourself with the people that are doing what you want to do. Because here's what I've learned. And luckily I didn't wait for the end of my life to learn this, is other people that are doing what you're doing, they're not better than you. They're just doing it differently. And if you surround yourself with those people, they'll show you how they're doing it differently. And then once you got that, you've got no choice but to be successful. So,
Wow.
and that's why I really like the community aspect. Pace has it and he really pushes it.
Yeah.
Vina now has it. She really pushes it. So you have no choice but to be successful because you've got a community of people that are willing to hold your hand and kick your butt to make sure you're going to where you need to go. And then lastly, we invest a lot in personal development. So we
Yeah.
hire coaches that ensure we're successful, right? Because their job is to watch your six and to see what you're seeing and make
Yeah.
sure you're on the right path and giving you the accountability and pushing you in ways that you need to be pushed or you would just become stagnant.
Okay. Got it. Great answer. Thank you. So let's talk about the person that is stuck at their W-2. There's so many of them. They probably feel a sense of desperation.
Right.
What is your advice to them to be able to break free from that and get into a world like you're living right now?
And that's a great question, because here's what I always tell people is, if you have a W-2 and you're working for somebody, you already know all the things it takes to run a business because you're doing it for somebody else, right?
Correct.
There's
Yeah.
nothing worse than walking around in shows going, oh my gosh, what happens if I lose my job? Or what if I say the wrong thing and now I'm on somebody's list and now my career starts to head south? There's all these little things that happen if you're in the, you know, either you're in the right place at the wrong time or the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
It could change the trajectory of your career, right? But at least in a business, you're in the driver's seat. And for some people that's scared, but they're only scared because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And if you take all the things you've done in a 20-year career and all the things you've done in raising a family and maintaining a household and all the things you do to maintain a marriage or a relationship, those are all the things necessary to run a business. All of it.
That's cool.
So the first thing I want everybody to understand, that if you have a W-2, you know what it takes to run a business. You just know that there's a team, around you that's running that business. That's number one. And number two, and this was my biggest aha, and I had to really work hard on this, is you don't create a business to give yourself another job. You create a business so you can build a team so they can run the business, so you just free your time and cash the check.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's the biggest mistake most of us make, including myself, is okay, I'm gonna study business so I can give myself a new job so I don't have to work for somebody else. But I just jumped from one problem to another.
Right.
Again, that's why I hired a coach around scaling in a business, because his biggest driver is you will not create a job for yourself. I don't care if you buy a business, start a business, run a business.
Good.
You have to figure out how to do that and fire yourself from any position in the company.
I love that.
So,
That's perfect. So you give people confidence. They already know how to run a business. Do you recommend that they basically take whatever money they have saved up and invest into a community right away, and then that's how they should jump into this world? Or what would be the first step?
I would say that if you have some money, first thing you want to ask yourself, how much do I need to invest in me? Because that's what you're doing. You're investing in yourself. And how quickly can I monetize that and make that money back and then some? So if you're looking at a program, a course, a mastermind. If you haven't figured out how to monetize that and pay yourself back in as quickly amount of time possible, then I don't recommend you invest that money, because
Okay.
that's what you should be asking yourself first. Because a lot of people like to invest in things like this, and then they don't take action, and then they just threw that money away, and
Yeah.
then they're in the corner cursing themselves, going, I knew something like this wouldn't work. This program was supposed to get me rich. But there's not a single program designed out there to get you rich quick. There's programs out there that teach you what it takes if you're willing to do the work. But now you've got to invest in your mindset as well and know that it's not going to be easy. It's a marathon. It's not.
Okay. Gotcha. Do you find that some people are successful if they just take the leap of faith and jump in full force, or do you think it's better to ride both sides of the fence and cross over when you're able to financially?
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about having a W-2 and running a business, sometimes that's necessary, right? Because starting a business from scratch isn't easy.
Yeah.
Then I would say get your hands on a business that's already cash flowing, that's already established, and the person just wants to walk away and put some money in their pocket. I've found how fascinating it is that most people that have built really big companies are willing to, carry a note and keep having a check because they're used to having monthly income,
Yeah.
and they just need a small amount of money to start their next adventure, and you can just do that with an SBA loan. However, I would say just decide what you want to do and plan that out. You should have a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan. And in that plan should be a jumping off point of leaving your W-2. So if you haven't incorporated that into your plan, then you really haven't planned your future, right? Because we aren't meant to have a job and run a business, right? You should
Right.
do
That's too
one or
much.
the other. And there are people that don't want to run a business and they want to have a W-2, and that's perfectly fine. I would never look down on anybody like that, because if I have a business, I would want to make sure that I have dedicated people who want to help me achieve my shared vision. So
Yeah.
again, there's something out there for everybody. You just have to decide what you want for you, and then unapologetically go after it, right? You don't owe anybody anything. You owe you and your family to try to be as successful as possible, and to align yourself with the people who are doing what you're doing and are already successful.
Yeah.
I like to call that borrowed confidence, right? If my brain knows if it could be done once, it could be done again. So if I see somebody who's done it, then I just borrow that and say, well, they've done it once, it could be done again. So, maybe I can give that a try.
I love that. That's really smart. Yes, borrow confidence. What's your take on having a laser-like focus, or um, an example? I happen to be the kind of personality type that I'm interested in a lot of things. I was given the advice recently I should probably focus in on one thing, make it successful, and then go ahead and focus on the next and the next. And super hard because I'm like, but I like this and I like this, and I want to learn both at the same time. So what's your take on that from your experience? Yeah.
I love that question because I was at that same crossroads. And then the piece of advice I was given was just try something for 6 months, because you don't even know if you're going to like it, right? I mean, how many times have you listened to a podcast, read a book, taken a course, and go, that's not at all what I thought. I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing that.
True.
So you do it for 6 months, and if you got what you wanted out of it, great. If you want to continue with it, great. If you want to do something different, great. You haven't lost a lot of time. 6 months goes by like that, right?
True.
So it's not like you're going to lose a lot of time for that. I would also say that even if you're focusing on one thing, the key to my success was to put some planned downtime in my calendar. So
I
I
love that.
purposely have stuff in my calendar where I don't do anything, and then I don't feel guilty about it, right? Because it was planned. It was planned downtime. Same thing with working on my health, right? I make sure that I work out 3 to 4 days a week, because if I'm not functioning properly and my brain is fogged, then I'm not a good business owner and I'm not helping my team grow.
Yeah.
So, focusing on health and sleep and just eating better. It's not a big thing. You don't have to, pay for some big eating plan and go to some expensive gym. It could be as easy as just replacing a couple of things on your plate and just going for a walk 3 times a day. It doesn't have to be anything major.
Yeah.
Remember, your brain is tied to your body, and when your body's fatigued, your brain just stops functioning right. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so to sum that all up, a 6 months focus, plan downtime, and make sure that health is up there in your core values, because you'd be surprised how many people have, business and family and all this other stuff in their top 5 core values, and you ask them what health is, they can't even tell you. But
Yeah.
imagine how much better of a business owner, a husband, a wife, a father, a mother, whatever it is, you will be if you're the best version of yourself from a health aspect.
Right. That's so good that you pointed that out because I can think of a lot of people in their retirement years that maybe, were successful in their business, but man, they don't have the health to enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
And so how sad is that to pursue an unbalanced life all that time to the point that you can't enjoy it once you've achieved what you need to achieve?
Yeah, and I think that would probably be one of my biggest nightmares is to finally make it to that place in life, and then now I can't go anywhere or do anything
Yeah.
or chase grandkids around or any of that stuff. That would probably be my worst nightmare.
Yeah, pointless. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree with you on that. So very, very good reminders. So, what is your focus right now then? Is it RV parks or like, do you have a specific focus at this moment?
Yeah, so we have a 506c fund. So we're working with accredited investors to raise money for deals like that. My fund is called Venture Vibes Fund, which is just the name alone tells you, right? We're focusing on RV parks, boutique hotels, other vacation type rentals
Yeah.
because you get, like I said, you get all the benefits of multifamily with less overhead, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so we've got a really fun environment and atmosphere for that. And then, so that's one part of the focus. And next part of the focus is the acquisition of RV parks to just increase our portfolio. And then I'm also part of under Finish Line TC Services, and there's a lot of investors out there that really need help in transactions in the creative space. And we do everything creative, from real estate to the purchase and selling of vehicles
Oh,
to the purchase and selling of businesses. If it's creative, we're involved in it. And so, I do some TC work, but I'm more focused on building that business and building that team with the other owners and just making Finish Line a household.
okay. I love that. That's so cool. I'm glad I asked that question. Um, so for somebody that's new to the community, new to, let's just say Pace Morby's community as an example, are there any availability or opportunities to become involved with you and your team, or would you just recommend that they just, kind of like gunshot approach and see who they can make connections with organically?
Well, it depends on what they're looking for. That one of the things that Pace created that I thought was phenomenal when you first get started is, go take his avatar course, because a lot of people get in real estate and they think they know what they want to do, but they're not quite sure.
Mm.
And when you come into that avatar course, it really allows you to understand what your true avatar is and what you should be going after, whether it's a TC or a connector or an investor or an acquisitions person or a dispo person or a closer. Or, you really discover who you are and where you want to fit on the team. And then once you understand that, then yes, if you're not using the community, you didn't understand what you bought into, because first and foremost is promoting his community. I mean, even if you look at a day with Pace, there's at least 100 or so people that do a day with Pace. So when you go to hang out with them, you're in a community of people. Owner club, a community of people.
Yeah.
Even the free Facebook group, a community of people, which I think is awesome, is because Pace gave me the opportunity to host his live Q&A for the free Facebook group every week,
Nice.
where I get to showcase people that are really doing well in sub-2 gator and transaction coordination. And it really lets those people know that you really don't understand the power of the community until you start hearing all these people's successes.
Yeah. Okay. What is the best way? Well, two questions. Avatar course. Where can I find that? Because
Yeah, just do a search in the Kajabi Vault. I can't remember where
Okay.
it's located, but
Okay.
Kajabi has the search function.
Okay. Thank
Definitely
you.
check that out. It's worth I can't remember how long the course is, but it's 100% worth your time.
That sounds really fun. I didn't even know about it, so thank you. And how best to take advantage of the community? As an example, my strategy at the moment is doing these interviews. I am getting to know you on a one-on-one level and organically expanding my network. But for somebody else, like what are the best ways in your opinion?
So when I first started, Pace threw out a challenge that says go out and meet 50 people in the community, however way it takes, whether you go to a sub-2 meetup, you go to a real estate meetup in town that's not sub-2 related, or you just throw your calendar in the sub-2 gator group and say, look, hey, I would love 15 minutes to get to know you. So
Okay.
just make it a point to not just connect with people for the sake of connecting, but really get to know them and understand what drives them,
Yeah.
and then let them understand what drives you, and then say, hey, well, what can we do for each other? Because that's really the thing in community, right? If it's one sided, you're not understanding the community.
Right.
If it's two sided, it means that both people are leading with this abundance mindset, and when
Yes.
you lead that way, you get it back tenfold.
Yes, yes. Okay, so from the perspective of a newbie gator or new TC person or sub two, maybe they might feel like they don't have a lot to give yet because they are new.
Right.
So what kind of perspective should they have? Like how could a new person really offer much value to someone like you, as an example?
And you said it best. It's, yet, right? So you can say, hey, I'm eager. This is what I'm focused on. What, if you were me, what would you recommend? If this is my focus and this is my passion, what would you recommend to do that?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so the best gift you can give somebody is to allow them to help you, especially if they have the
Mm.
experience and knowledge, because they want to help.
Yeah.
So give them that gift. So it's not just about asking, for that help, but it's also accepting. The best way to pay somebody back is to take the action they've given you and go back and say, oh my gosh, I was so glad I met you. I did XYZ
Yes.
and I learned so much. What can I do for you next?
I love it. That's so powerful. Thank you so much for saying that. Really, truly a genuine person with integrity, to answer that way. So thank you, Jason. Um,
You're most welcome.
well, what what have I not asked that maybe you want to express? Is there anything off the top of your mind? Any angle you'd like to take this?
You've been incredibly thorough, which I can tell you have a thirst for knowledge, right? You really generally care about what people have to say and the adventures they've been on and
Yeah.
what they've learned. Because remember, somebody else's lessons learned becomes very powerful, because you can fast forward your learning if you're willing to hear what people have to say
Yeah.
and then replicate the things that work and avoid the things that don't.
So true.
No, I can say you can get a 4-year degree in a year if you could mirror and hang out with somebody that are doing the things you're doing and helping you avoid the mistakes that you should most likely avoid.
Yes. Yes. So surrounding yourself with the people that have already been there, done that.
I don't know who said it. Somebody, it could be Pace, could be anybody, but they said that the top 5 people around you are your board of directors, and if they're not lifting you up, you've got the wrong people, in that spot. And so, I guess the final piece of advice I would give everybody is you've got to risk the relationship. You've got to be able to prepare to accept the carnage that happens when you decide that you're going to change and you're going to change the people you hang out with because you want to be more successful. Here's what happens is people put you in their life based on where they're at their journey.
Mhm.
And when the trajectory of your life changes, one of two things happen. They either go, oh, I really like what they're doing, and they come with you, or they get bitter and mad and go the other way.
Yeah.
But here's what I've learned about the universe is the universe will open the door to the kind of people you're looking for if you're willing to risk the relationship and believe in yourself enough to change and go where you want to.
Yes, so powerful. And I found that to be true in my life, especially in the last year where I've been really, really focusing on, like you said, abundance mindset and elevating myself to be around people that think the same way. It's been such a game changer. And it's not that you don't love the other people still, but they're just thinking on maybe what you could say a lower vibration.
Yep.
And you send them love and support in any way you can, but protect your space and spend your time around people that are visionaries and forward thinking and
Yeah.
are going to cheerlead and help each other lift each other up.
Yeah. And you make a great point. There are energy suckers out of there and there are energy givers. You've
Yeah.
got to avoid those energy suckers. And I will tell you the first time, Erica and I met Vina Jetty in person, and we walked into that room and we saw all the other like-minded people in there. We go, oh my gosh, that's the energy we've been looking for. These are our
Yes.
people, right? They're,
Love that.
they're striving to do bigger things. They understand that there are things they don't know, and they're open to learn, and they're
Yeah.
willing to ask for it and take help. So,
That's so cool. Yes, to
huge.
find your tribe is a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
And it's also nice for people out here watching this that to realize that people, it's not about making the money and it's not all about that. It's not like these people in investment groups and stuff are just greedy or going after only money, materialism. It's not like that. these people are actually quite elevated in their lives, and they care about others, and they've learned that the more that you can add value to other people and the more people you can add value to, it's just it circles back. And so it's like the law of compensation. And so yeah, just if anybody has a mindset like, you know, if I pursue this, then it'll turn me into that kind of person. It's not true. It's actually completely opposite. The people that are successful are usually the people that have the biggest hearts and the most generous and want to also build other people up along with them.
Well, that's true. In my opinion, money is a lot like alcohol. It amplifies who you are, right? So if you're a nice, sweet, generous person, it just makes you nice, sweet, more generous. But if you're the world's biggest jerk, it's just going to amplify that. So, and I've seen that everywhere. And so, owning a business and making money, there's no evil or miscontent in that. It's what we were all meant to do. We were all born perfect and we're all meant to be successful. It's just what you do with that is really defines who you are.
Perfect way to summarize that. I love that. Thank you so much. Oh, Jason, this has been so fun. I think it's been super valuable. Again, thank you for your time. And who knows, maybe we can hop back on in 6 months or a year from now and get some updates and more inspiration for people. But I just want to thank you for coming on today.
I love that. I appreciate that. And if anybody wants to chat or ask questions, you can, reach me on Instagram. That's kind of the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Okay, great. And can you go ahead and give their Instagram handle?
Yeah, it's just Jason Bates Invests.
Okay. Okay, perfect. I'll put it in the show notes as well. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.